Alright, so I'm going to cover creating a Google site and using it for project management. I found Google Sites to be great for managing new projects that I've set up and that I'm running. And I use it heavily in grant proposal development to share files and to record information and to document information. And it's just been a very versatile tool in setting things up and just tracking information that needs to be shared with a number of different people. So I'm going to go through the basics here. First off, you need to get a Gmail account if you don't already. Go ahead and sign one up, and then what you need to do is you need to come, once you sign in, come to the More tab and pull down, and then it's click on Sites right here. You're going to have a tab that pops up and it shows all the sites that you may have, and you can create a new site at this point. So here's where you're at with the new site, and let's set up a site called Sample, or we could set it up and call it Tech Class. You know, whatever you want to set it up as. So this is going to be the name of your site, but then the URL needs to be different. Chances are there's probably already an existing sample website out there, so I'm going to add some numbers, and then I'm going to go ahead and choose a theme. We'll go with one of my favorite for OSU sites, which is Solitude Cherry. And then you've got some more options. You can add site description, blah, blah, blah. Generally, I don't do anything with those. And then you type in the code shown. Okay, so we go ahead and create our site. And so here's the home page that it initially shows us. We have these buttons up here that allow us to create pages or edit pages. So let's go ahead and edit this page, and it opens it up into an editor, a WYSIWYG based editor. So okay, so we come up and we save it. Now, if you don't save it at that time, it has it backed up. If you navigate away from it or your browser closes down, all your work is not lost. Generally, it does a save if you leave it up, and it will try and, when you go back to that page and try to edit it, it will go ahead and say you need to, it'll load the previous unsaved changes. So we want to go ahead and create a page, and we have several different options of pages. The web page, we're just going to create a normal web page this time. We'll call it Test 1, and we want to put it under the top level. Okay? Let's go ahead and create this page. Now on this, you'll see that we have information that we can insert, cut and paste into here, which is really easy from web documents or from Word documents. So here, I'm going to cut and paste my agenda into this, and you can see how it all falls out, where it shows up. I can highlight it and I can remove any formatting. So I lost all of the indentations. We can select everything. We can bold it, or we can italicize it, or we can change the font size. So we can increase this and save this, and there we have our first page that's created. Now, if you're surfing the net or you're doing competitive analysis, this is great for being able to create a page around competitive analysis, or we can even go like this and change Test 1 to competitive analysis, and we can save it. Now, right over here to your left, you have your directory. that's being created as you do this. So now from test 1, it now changes it over to competitive analysis just by changing this header. What we can also do is we can create links to different places, either an existing web page or an existing page within our website or an external web page. So we're going to go to google.com. We can open this in a new window, and it sets it up for us, and so we can save it, and we can save it, open up Google. Alright, now let's create another page, a different type of page. Actually, let's go back for a second. Let's cancel out of this. And you have, if you're doing competitive analysis, we can attach files onto this page of different information that we want to keep track of, or anything. It doesn't have to be competitive analysis. Or we can add in the comments section. Okay, I just found yahoo.com and a9.com. Two competing websites against Google, and so it records the date and time and who made the recording. Now, we'll get into being able to edit and make sure whose information has been recorded in this in a few minutes. But let's go back and say we have a project that we need to track action items, or we need to track risks. Well, we can put this under the top level once again, and we can have action items. There's different templates that are here and available for you. Use this action items template. And generally, I'm going to customize the list because I like to have the date that it was assigned. And we can record this as a date so that we know when it was supposed to be started. Generally, I go to the description next, who's the owner, what's the resolution, and then completed, and I like to actually know the date completed. And that's, once again, date, and I actually want to get rid of complete, so the date completed, and so we can track who's responsible and when. We can set the sorting to who's responsible for it in an ascending or descending order, or anyways, those are some different options that you can play with. You can also throw in priority numbers, different things like that for tracking. And then we can add an item. So we choose the date, which is today. Description, we're supposed to call several companies. We'll say 5 companies. Whoops. Sorry about that. 5 companies about technology. I'll be the owner of it, and then we can save that. Okay. So here's where it saves. We might also consider putting in a target date for when it should be completed. Once again, we can attach different items or make different comments. We can add a resolution at a later time by just clicking on the action item, and we can say 3 good, 2 bad, and we can say the date completed was the 26th, save, and then we can track all of our action items. We can also eliminate our action item if we get too long of a list and it's not helpful for us to keep tracking it. So this might be after an action item has been completed for 2 or 3 weeks. We're not going to go back and revisit it. It's easy to delete it. So that's another tool. If there are large sets of documents, generally I try to create a page around the documents that I might be saving to, instead of having this file this page where I've got a ton of documents and I don't know what they're for or why we're hanging on to them, I'll create a page around them. Or if there are a number of documents that need to be kept together, maybe it's like our final report, and we're tracking all of them. And maybe it's our final report for our competitive analysis. Well, we can create a subdirectory for them right here. And as you can see, we have on the left our navigation, which is competitive analysis, and we have our final report, which is right here. And we can add multiple files to this. Nope, can't add multiple files all at the same time. But we can add a file description, or if it's on the web that we want to upload it, we can do all of those things. So there's a holding of that. Now, one thing that I do want to mention is that there are megabyte limitations. I think it's like half a gig or 500 megabytes. Maybe it's only 200 megabytes, but there is I've not hit the limitation yet. But if you're just uploading Word documents, or if you're uploading small PDFs, things like that, or pictures, you shouldn't have much of a problem with it. But still, 200 megabytes, worst case scenario, is still quite a chunk of memory to try and fill up. Now, let's go back to these action items or the home page. Now, let's say we wanted to insert, well, let's go to, first off, we need to manage the site. So let's say, for instance, there are some people that we want to be able to see the site and some people that we don't want to see the site. So I believe under General Settings, let's see, sorry if I'm kind of clicking around trying to find sharing and permissions right here. So everybody has a Gmail account. Well, I'm going to invite, and we have these options of is owner, can edit, can view. Okay. So let's say I wanted to invite myself, Mr. Kenneth Anderson, my other Gmail account, and I wanted to allow me to also be able to edit it. So I can save and share it, and then my other profile, Gmail account, is going to be able to log on, go through the same process of coming to their More sites, and then being able to click in here and see where or find it on their list of sites and be able to come in and check it. Now, right now, who has access? The public on the web, anyone in the internet can find and view. We want to change this so that only people explicitly granted permission can access, and this may still only be viewing access. The other alternative, and I use this one predominantly, is anyone with the link can go ahead and see the site, but they don't have to log in, and it's not searchable under public on the web. It is searchable through Google. So, but if you guys have a private project that only you guys want yourselves to see and nobody else to have access to it, then you can click on the private and it saves it. And so if I were to log out of my Gmail account and try and look at it, then I wouldn't be able to do that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to return to the site. I'm going to copy this, and I've got another browser that's open right here. I'm going to plug that in, and I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to ask me for my account information and password. If I don't have it, then I'm not going to be able to gain access to the website. Okay? So it's all password protected, which makes it really nice for some projects. Now there's also the capability of, let's see, I think it's under Manage Site. Let's go here, and we can add we can change up the site as far as the layout goes, colors and fonts. We can change the background color. Right now the background color is white. It'll let you see it. That's what it's going to look. We're going to go back to the default theme. Okay, now under these site layouts, they've got some neat different tools over here. One of which is being able to add a countdown. And I like the countdown for projects because then we have a target deadline that you can always come back and track. So let's say we're doing a launch. So, and we choose the date and we want to launch for January 18th. You know, so that maybe that's our cash burn date, last day of cash flow. Now we have a countdown that we can add to this. We can go ahead and save the changes. There are additional items that you can add in if you want to monetize it, or navigation, blah, blah, blah. Recent site activity, that's a common one. Sometimes if there's a lot of change going on, then you can add that. Site owners, page authors, so you've got different options. So we can return to the site, and now, since we set it to January 18th or whatever day we chose, we've got 141 days before it launches. One other thing that I did want to point out in this that I think has been very helpful is that we can subscribe to page changes. Now, if there's a team that are working on a project and everybody needs to be kept apprised of all the different changes, when you've got 4 or 5 or 10 people adding changes to a site constantly over a month period of time, you know, nobody has time to go back into the site and say what's different today than it was yesterday. You can subscribe to page changes, and then anytime that there's a change made to the site, it'll email you and let you know, hey, here's the text that was added to this site, and here's who did the change. And you can keep track of keep abreast of all the information that's going on, that's changing, as well as being able to aggregate all of the information, everybody's files, into one location. So so that if somebody loses their computer, or if you're trying to keep track of information, then you can go ahead and put it all on the web and have that available for everybody instead of people stockpiling their files in one place or another. But also you'll be able to add additional comments or things to your project or the information to help keep it organized and flowing in a logical fashion. I think that is there anything else that I wanted to cover? I think that that's it. All right, well, thank you and enjoy.